Now let's move on to the game. Could be 11-0 against 11-0. We'll see. Both teams with challenging schedules. Ohio State play Texas week 1. So we'll see if each team is undefeated. But going to be a lot on the line in this one. Noon Eastern on Fox. One thing to know about Ohio State, in a similar spot to Michigan coming into last season, you win the national championship. You wouldn't trade it for anything. But it does mean that there's some fallout from that. Not in a bad way, but you lose coordinators. You lose a bunch of players to the pros. You have to kind of figure out how new guys are going to try to do the same thing as guys that are no longer there did. New coordinators on each side of the ball, as we mentioned. Really, really interesting hires. Brian Hartline on offense. Matt Patricia on defense. We'll start with Brian Hartline. You guys remember Brian Hartline. I think our producer Megan has a video that is queued up here of Brian Hartline. You guys remember this guy.
165 days since that godforsaken day in Teal North. For 365 days, we've heard them talk. For 365 days, I have to watch them attack our head coach, attack our quarterback, and attack Buckeye Nation. Instead of getting loud and trying to respond on social media, we got quiet. We circled a date on the calendar, November 26th, 2022. And we went to work. And we knew what we did in the dark, what we did in the quiet will someday come to light. Today is that light.
So there you go. That's Brian Hartline, just in case people forgot. Has been there a long time, has recruited incredible wide receivers, has been a big part of their offensive success. I'm giving him a hard time, but just an embarrassing speech heading into Michigan's blowout win in Columbus back in 2022. So he's in charge of the offense after Chip Kelly goes and joins Pete Carroll as the offensive coordinator of the Las Vegas Raiders. Matt Patricia, there's probably a video out there I should play of Matt Patricia too. The former Detroit Lions head coach, former New England Patriots defensive coordinator, former rocket scientist, literally as well, comes in as the DC. And we've seen how this can work. Similar spot to Michigan, right? A year ago, Michigan brings in a defensive coordinator from the NFL, some growing pains throughout the year with some high-end talent, which Ohio State also has this season. But by the end of the season, it works out. We'll see. The thing is, Michigan's going to be getting probably the best version, as long as they stay healthy, of whatever this Ohio State defense is in Week 12. But as far as the opponent as a whole, we'll see how that defense adjusts to playing a similar style from what I've read to what they had under Jim Knowles, but also with a new guy calling the plays. Another thing to know about Ohio State, I think they have the two best players in the Big Ten. Jeremiah Smith at wide receiver and Caleb Downs at safety. Jeremiah Smith set every freshman wide receiver record at Ohio State last year, 76 catches for 1,315 yards, 15 touchdowns. He was a first-team All-American as a true freshman, according to USA Today. Caleb Downs was third on the team, 81 tackles last year, 7.5 tackles for loss, 6 pass breakups, 2 picks. He's all over the field defensively. We saw it, he's 0-2 against Michigan because he played at Alabama as a freshman, Ohio State last year, but is an unbelievable player and is a great building block for them defensively after they lose all that talent that came from a unit that led the country in points allowed per game, led the country in yards allowed per game. And that was with their insanely difficult schedule if you stack it up against anyone else, because they played, 3-4 college football playoff games plus their Big Ten slate that included Michigan, Penn State, Oregon. So Caleb Downs, they still have a lot of talent there. Sonny Styles as well, second team All Big Ten at linebacker. Back to the offense, 2 starters back on the O-line, have to replace both running backs, Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, and have to replace Will Howard at quarterback. Looks like Julian Sayin, who transferred from Alabama a year ago, spent the year with Ohio State, is the likely starter. Ryan Day has been non-committal about that, hasn't named a starter. But he's got Jeremiah Smith to throw to. He's got Carnell Tate to throw to. He's got Max Clare coming in as a tight end transfer from Purdue. 51 catches, 685 yards, 4 touchdowns last year. So he's got weapons. They've got some talent on the O-line. They got to shift some things around there. And they should have a pretty good defense again, depending on what Matt Patricia can do with that unit. I wouldn't expect them to struggle like Michigan did a year ago at the beginning of the season. I think Ohio State has much more talent. They've recruited at a better level. Plus, they have those high-end guys that we mentioned, similar to what Michigan had with Mason Graham, Will Johnson, Kenneth Grant, Colston Loveland last season. Josiah Stewart, throw him in there as well. They still have that type of talent too. So, but starting the season against Texas in Columbus will be a challenge. At the end of the year, they will end it with a game against Michigan. Michigan seeking a 5-game win streak in the rivalry for the first time since a 6-game span from 1922 to 1927. So I guess we'll close it out by saying, give us a comment. What's your prediction for the Michigan-Ohio State game? If you think Michigan's going to win, hit that thumbs up button. We need to get this to 300 likes. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and for much, much more on Michigan football, including in a couple weeks, Big Ten Media Days, fall camp coming up, beginning of the season. Get in over at thewolverine.com. Use the promo code UM1 for 2 months of premium access for just $1. Have a great 4th of July, everyone, and we will see you next time.